Mercado Airwaves is brought to you by supporters at patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves. If you would like to support Mercado Airwaves, visit us at patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves. Find us on iTunes at Mercado Airwaves. Keep up to date with the show on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. You can follow Alex on Twitter at Mercado21Alex. Follow Mike on Twitter at mmercado2333 and on Instagram, MikeMercado2333. Get ready, get set for the best movie and pop culture talk in the universe. It's The Good Brothers on Mercado Airwaves with your hosts, Alex Mercado and Mike Mercado.
Welcome back, ladies and germs. It is March Madness here at The Good Brothers. I am Alex. This is Mike. Say hi to the folks, Mike.
What's going on, good brother?
I said say hi, Mike.
Hello.
No, hi, Mike.
Hi, Mike.
There you go. Pulp Fiction joke.
Yes, good call.
There you go.
Yeah,
The wolf.
deep cut. Yes, got me off guard. Alex, how was your week, man?
It was good. We're on spring break, so going to get a few days off coming up. Easter coming up. See the whole family that I haven't seen in ages. I don't know who's pregnant and who's who anymore.
Who's around? Who's still around? Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, man, it was a busy week. We have Easter Sunday coming up this week for a lot of people. So, like you said, there's going to be a lot of
Ready Player One this week and then A Quiet Place next week. So we'll be watching those. So look out for next week's episode. We will be doing our review of Ready Player One, which, you know, I bite my tongue on this. Has been getting crazy hype. So I guess the only people that hate it are kind of terrible people.
Yeah.
So those people that came out early reviews that it was terrible are just horrible people.
And I think the biggest thing I've always been saying about this movie is eventually at some point it's going to have to get momentum. It's going to have to hit some good word of mouth. Because while I thought it was going to be good, the previews weren't great. You weren't hearing a lot about it until South by Southwest, and now people have seen the early screenings, and it's finally had that momentum that I still don't think it's going to open up to big money.
No, but I think that's hard nowadays just because like there's so much competition everywhere. Like Black Panther just got dethroned by freaking
what was it that did dethrone
the terrible Pacific Rim.
Pacific Rim Uprising did. Tomb Raider dropped all the way to 5.
Yeah, but Tomb Raider, we knew that wasn't going to make much money.
I understand it, but that's crazy.
Like
there's no part 2.
I thought Ready Player One was smart with the advertising because now you see it kicking a high gear, and they're like, we're just going to give you that week. Because we know there's a lot of content out there, so we're going to get you fresh in your mind. And it's kind of working where I'm like, oh, yeah, I am pretty excited for Ready Player One, actually.
Yeah, and they've done a great job of giving you just enough Easter eggs.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. While I've read the book, I don't know the story necessarily of the movie.
We got our first piece of fake news. Mike does not know how to read people. That's why he does a podcast.
Yes, it's very true. That's why I don't write any scripts.
Like, there is no scripts, people.
Let me ask you this, though. Like, think about it. Like, unless you've read the book, what do you know what the story? Do you know any, like,
Well,
story?
yeah, I mean, it's pretty easy. Like, computer world, evil guy. But from what I hear from people that have read it is that it's very different than the book because, like, the time's different. And, like, because since Spielberg's directing and, like, it's not very similar.
Has a lot of
so I feel like that, like, it's kind of like it, where it's like you can read the book, but it's kind of just different.
I agree. My point is, every commercial I've seen, other than Easter eggs, the movie feels like it's not been spoiled. Like it just feels like this movie just looks like it's going to be.
I think it's a simple
awesome
story too, though.
Yeah,
like,
it probably is. Yeah.
Like under
hero,
rise of a hero, defeat the bad guys.
I mean, the book is a mixture of Willy Wonka and like that, like virtual reality.
Well, they play the Willy Wonka song in the preview too.
Oh, nice. Okay.
You haven't seen that preview?
No,
it's actually really good.
Yeah, I've actually stayed away from a lot of previews because of the Easter eggs. Because I got spoiled with the God of
War. Only the ones
Kratos.
on TV. Yeah, only
the
Kratos
one really pissed me off.
But I wasn't
like,
excited about it. I caught that Spielberg documentary too.
I told you it's really good, right?
It's all right.
It's
kind of like a whole 2 hours of him and his boys pandering each other. Like, hey, aren't we geniuses?
That was my biggest problem is that it was 2 hours.
And he's kind of a cuck mark lately for calling out the Netflix on they shouldn't be deserving Oscars. He's kind of in a doghouse at the moment. You haven't seen those articles?
No, I saw him talk about, especially with the idea of Scorsese.
He wants them to get Emmys. I'm like, yo, bro, like, you're really showing the age now, Spielberg, and I'm a little worried about that because I love you.
It's also because he hasn't had to go to Netflix.
Well,
he hasn't had that moment where
he's kind of a snob too. Let's be honest.
I don't disagree with was George Lucas. It doesn't take away from the art. I don't disagree with you.
You're the one who hates the prequels. I love the prequels, so I'm all for George Lucas.
So, what else do we have going on? It's March, Alex. You teased it earlier. Also, this idea of a March Madness. Before we go on and tackle some of the more news that happened, we want to go ahead and let you guys know that later on in this episode, we are going to tackle one of these big March Madness bracket.
Probably the biggest one on the internet now, the Disney Pixar one. The shorter one, they got one with like 64. I don't think anyone's. People are too lazy to do that on Twitter.
Yeah.
We're doing the one that's kind of making the rounds, making the jokes about. because it is a new generation versus old generation, a Lion King versus more of a Tangled Frozen era.
So very interested because we kind of were in the beginning of the Pixar, and we were definitely at the tail end of like the Disney run.
See, we were
the new run.
like unlike wrestling with Mike, we were actually alive for most of the good stuff. Yeah. We had an argument before the show. We'll argue one day, maybe wrestle. We'll take. There's a debate coming for WrestleMania weekend next week, guys, about what Mike watched as a child.
I can't believe WrestleMania so close. Like, it is pretty crazy how fast that's approaching.
We also, for this bracket, we also took one online for the reason of me and Mike would have thought about the rankings.
Just for the rankings alone is a show.
So we're like, you know what, let's cut the rank, because if we're going to have a whole episode about ranking it and then doing it, actually.
Especially with two different brands, quote unquote.
We got the one that basically made the most popular on the internet. We got that one.
What else was going on? We had A Quiet Place is coming out, getting again another movie that's getting great reviews.
Yeah, we talked about that last week, so that's reviews coming in 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's the one
we'll
that
watch next week.
Keep an eye out. Keep an eye out for Ready Player One, and then keep an eye out for
I can't see us not loving it. So
I'm very
early
excited.
review. It's probably perfect. But
and
we'll see.
Just in the idea of like John Krasinski and Emily Blunt in a scary movie that's getting a big hype, like that alone should be enough to get you like in the theater. So I hope it makes its money.
Oh, I caught Devil Wears Prada again last night.
Good movie.
God, that movie's so good.
Good movie. Yeah.
God, Meryl Streep. Like when you. I know I talk a little bad about Meryl Streep this year because she didn't deserve it. I'm like,
I agree. Yeah.
Yo, she deserved that Oscar that year for Devil Wears Prada.
Oh no,
that movie. I'm like, Devil Wears Prada's gonna leave it on the background. I watched it.
Here's the thing, and I feel like we were a little hard on the post. I feel like because we love those movies.
The more it goes on, the more I agree. Like the movie didn't deserve an Oscar. Spielberg didn't deserve an Oscar.
That's different than saying though that we were hard on it though. Like I do think it's a good movie. You and I just love those movies so much that compared to the great movies that we've seen before.
It's just a mediocre movie.
Spotlight just 3 years ago.
Spotlight's a masterpiece. That's
I agree,
different.
but that's why it's hard to compare it to then. This.
But The Post was a very mediocre movie that had anyone but Steven Spielberg directed it, it doesn't even get a movie nod. And it goes back to my thing of like, I love Spielberg, but he's a snob, and the only reason he even got the nom is because he's Steven Spielberg. Bridge of Spies, come on, man!
Like you said,
he's not hitting on those.
I don't want to put you on the spot because I don't remember exactly word for word what you said, but you definitely were not a believer in Ready Player One, and the fact that forget what reviewers are saying. Let's say when you walk in, you still don't like it. Like, you honestly just don't enjoy it. But, like, what if this movie is a hit? It gives him a whole new life.
That goes back to his old style of fun action instead of serious political pieces that he's not good at. His last two political pieces have not been good.
But he's got people nominated for Oscars. Well, I agree with you. That has to do more with the performer. The building blocks of the movie are...
Meryl Streep is the Bryan Cranston of movies, dude. She'll sneeze and get an Oscar. Come on. When's the last time she wasn't nominated? Like 10 years ago? Like when she was in the womb, basically? Even in the womb, she probably got a nod for turning the right way or kicking her stomach the right way. Come on,
sneezed. Man. Yeah. What else we have in the news that we wanted to tackle?
The entire Fox X-Men universe basically got pushed a year, so we don't know. Well, rumors are that it's going to be on. Rumors are, and I think they're early rumors, people this. Because you got to think in our industry, people sometimes throw out news, and we'll do it sometimes just to be like, I was the first to say it. Like when I said, Black Panther's going to make $200 million. A couple people were saying that. I thought it was a little more realistic than fake news, but it ended up being true. There's also this rumor going around that the Disney Network coming out, they're going to start with Lady and the Tramp live action, a Star Wars Jon Favreau series.
Can't wait for that.
Which is all going to be great. And now they're saying that they're pushing these movies a whole year and a half, and they might even push them more to get ready for the Fox deal and the networks. I totally don't think that's true. I just think it's a lot of reshoots, and Fox has no idea what they're going. So I think it's reshoots. I just think it's like I think they're going to wait because I think it's not going to be the same next year as it is this year with how stacked it is with Infinity War and Deadpool.
So let's give them the dates. So originally, New Mutants was supposed to come out in April 13th, I believe. So that got moved.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah. So that got moved to November. November was then going to have New Mutants and X-Men Dark Phoenix. Well, then, as Alex said, this news breaks that Dark Phoenix is moved to February of the following year in 2019, which, if you listen to some of these insiders, they talk about how Fox has had some success with February with some of their movies.
I agree. You might as well go February.
So, with that in mind, and from November to February being the first move, that's not that big of a deal.
No.
The big deal is going from April to November, and then November all the way to, I think they said, August?
Here's
October?
the problem with this also, with the facts, is the problem is Fox was so low-key about this because they decided to put this news like at the end of a random day. Like this wasn't like, this is something you have to wake up to and look for. Like they didn't really they were super low-key about this. So I don't know what that means, but it's noticeable that like, wow, Fox was like, by the way, We're moving to the next movie. Anyway, how's everyone doing? Like, they low-keyed it so much where you're like, okay, why are we low-keying it so much? What's going on over there, Fox? Like I get moving dates, but, like, you super did it under the radar without most of us even knowing about it at a low time at night with low internet, like,
Or it was the dead cycle.
traffic.
Yeah, it was the dead cycle, the news cycle. But here's the thing: you see it in politics, like Sunday night is a big night where you drop news that you want.
Like
you
they did it totally purposely of where they dropped it.
Here's my thing. While I understand, if you watch some of the previews, when you watch the New Mutants preview, it looked like a scary movie. If you believe some of the rumors where they're saying it really wasn't that type of movie. And they wanted it to hit more with the it crowd. They wanted it to be unique. They wanted
Stranger
it to be
Things, kids, all that stuff. Yes.
So with that in mind, this idea that there's a rumor going around that they're reshooting 50% of the movie, adding characters. Look at this point, the preview you saw, the preview we were excited about, the preview we've talked about on the show, that's done. Throw that out the window. That doesn't mean anything.
And that doesn't
anymore.
necessarily mean bad or good because you have movies like World War Z, which was better. World War Z was so much better because of the
coming off of the you're right.
Or Rogue One, where most people loved it. I personally kind of soured on the movie because I kind of want to see the more violent one. But it did great. Like, it made the money, and 99% of audiences loved it. I happen to be the 1%. I'm like, it doesn't. I watched the second time. I don't like it as much. Like, I don't think it was as good. More nostalgic Star Wars. But I also like The Last Jedi. So what do I know? Like, it's my second favorite Star Wars movie. So
I love The Last
Jedi. It's all opinion. But I'm just saying, like, it works out a lot of times. It does it not work out a lot of times? Of course, sure. Fantastic Four.
See it all the time, yeah.
Fantastic Four, we'll find out in Solo.
That's the big one. That's the next big one, and it so happens to be these movies, these IPs that just we're learning this. I heard this great quote. It might have been Collider.
It was probably me. Go ahead.
It might have been Alex.
Probably quoting me.
We are learning that the IP is more important than the vision.
Yep.
The IP is more important than anything else. So you have to protect it. So the New Mutants, it might have been Frosty from Collider News.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily like Frosty, but I appreciate some of the work he does. He brought it up. New Mutants could be a $500 million movie, could be a $1 billion movie. We don't know in today's day and age.
Yeah.
That's more important than any vision a director has.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so true. We're beyond the days of Francis Ford Coppola making a masterpiece, not worrying about budget, or Stanley Kubrick. Like, that doesn't matter anymore. What matters is that Spider-Man movie cannot suck. Because that needs to make us $1 billion with his T-shirt.
Exactly. Like, you're more off. It's the brand now.
Brand,
like, no matter how bad Star Wars is, like, people want to talk about this smack about Solo this. It's going to make a lot of money. It will. And that's just the way it is. Maybe it won't make $2 billion, but it's going to make a lot of money. Like, people always say, well, Last Jedi didn't do as good as this one. I'm like, yeah, but, like, there's a lot of things that go into why it didn't make as much as Force Awakens, but it still made billions of dollars.
Exactly.
So what are we really arguing here? A couple pennies?
So I definitely think that's just something. I mean, at the end of the day, Fox is trying to make their best decision. We don't know what's going on with this merger.
I've guessed from day one, like, the merger's not going to go through.
I think this is an indication that it does go through.
We'll see.
Because if you push things back enough, the only movie I think they're not touching is Deadpool.
If it gets, here's my guess: if it gets one more push after this push,
it's done.
Then it's Disney. Yeah. Then it's going to Disney
okay.
service.
Okay.
Then one of those will be a Disney service. New Mutants will be Disney service. That's gonna be their Stranger Things.
That could be.
Then,
Good point.
but then Dark Phoenix is gonna go to theaters. But, like, if they push it back one more time, or at least one of the movies, I agree. Then I'm gonna change my statement. It'll be, I think it's going to Disney.
And staying with Disney, we've also heard that rumor going around that at least it seems confirmed. Captain America himself, Chris Evans, the real Captain America on the real road, if you follow him on Twitter, he doesn't seem to be signed
Dang,
after.
like, real political over there, huh?
I know, right? He doesn't seem to be in Avengers 4.
No, he's in Avengers 4.
He's signed after Avengers 4. Yes.
He's not going to sign. And, again, there's two ways this goes. Either one, he's really done. And Chris Evans, out of that whole crew, is probably the most creative, I would say.
Right, with his work.
When it comes to his
stuff.
producing, his work, he is trying to take some more serious roles. He does a little more indie stuff, like, which is weird because he's Captain America, and you see him on some of these Netflix ones that are actually very good.
Yeah,
movies.
low key though. They're just low.
They're
key.
very low key roles, but he's trying to break out. But I also could see this being a power play for being like, I want Downey money. Like, if you want me around here just to show up in a couple movies and maybe do, like, an old man cat movie,
that'd be great,
then I'm gonna need some of this. You're gonna roll the truck back. Like, you're about to make a bunch. I saw Black Panther numbers. I know you got the money right now.
Here's a question,
but do they want to spend it on him?
I was gonna say, if you're Disney, you and I talked about it after we saw Black Panther. Like, Disney has kind of hitched their wagon on Chris Pratt, Chadwick Boseman, and Tom Holland. Like, we've seen them kind of back these guys up. Here's the question, though. Chris Pratt, is he a superstar? What we've learned is Chris Evans is a big enough superstar, even without any other blockbuster films, to, for some reason, he connect with the audience as Captain America.
Chris Pratt's a bigger star. Chris Pratt has.
Chris
Pratt has 2 franchises.
My question
Evans
is,
has 1.
Whose light is going to burn brighter in the MCU?
I think Chris Pratt.
I think Chris Pratt is more lovable right now. He's the bigger star right now. I feel like Chris Evans, out of everybody there, has the longest, seems to have the longest track out of anybody.
Here's my problem with Evans is, like, I could, if you told me tomorrow one's going to go, I could see Evans leaving. I'm like, well, I could still have Cap with, like, Sebastian, and I'm like, I'll be okay with that.
I like Sebastian
because he's great.
Shout out Sebastian.
I'm like,
Stan
without
should be Luke
Star-Lord,
Skywalker.
though, the Guardians really aren't the Guardians as much anymore. Like, no offense to Gamora or, like, you know, Drax or Rocket. I'm like,
that's not what I'm saying.
I think Chris Pratt's a bigger star.
I agree with you. What I'm saying is, who has the longest track with the fans?
I said it, Chris Pratt.
Maybe, but I feel like Chris Pratt is
Chris
more.
Think about look how much, like you just
Or
said, like, you put Chris
shooting
Pratt on
from
that
the-
list. He's only been around for,
Shooting-
like, what, 4 years now?
Shooting from the hip, I feel like a guy like Chris Pratt is such a superstar. His star will fade out faster than somebody like Chris Evans, who may never be the gigantic star that Chris Pratt was at his peak, but he's so consistent. It is Chris Evans. While I think Chris Pratt will always be a star, the superstar that he is right now, the megastar that he is right now, I don't think is long-lasting as Chris Evans, which is why I think Disney, while they hitch their wagons on these 3 guys, I think they'll always feel safe, just like RDJ we've learned, and it's all about money with RDJ.
I think you only get one of those. I don't think you keep RDJ.
That's fine. That's fine. I'm just stating what I think about what Chris Evans could become, or what he might mean to somebody like Kevin Feige, Jon Favreau, these directors where it's like, he's our consistent guy.
I don't see it.
Maybe.
I don't see it.
Maybe. I see him more.
I think that's Downey.
I think Downey's who they love more. I think Downey.
That goes to audience of beer.
I think that wasn't me.
Your little app went off.
That wasn't me. That was you.
Oh, wasn't mine's on silent?
Mine's on silent.
That was weird.
Yeah, that wasn't me.
We have a ghost, y'all.
Yeah.
Bloody Mary.
But it's very interesting. Oh, scoop. Yeah, so we figured that out. So at least now, I don't know about you, we are so close to Infinity War.
I just want to think about it because then I get too excited and I can't sleep at night. So, like, I just try and like, there's so many movies coming out. I'm just gonna watch those.
Yeah, that is what's nice though. Is like we do have some movies that come up that are gonna
like I got a lot of TV I'm watching. Like I saw Walking Dead, really good this weekend. People, my review, really good. Last 2 episodes, we got a lot of violence, got a lot of killing. The zombie bats worked. That's cool. And I caught Krypton.
Yeah, how did you like it?
Really good series premiere. Like, really good.
Did we see
touches
Brainiac?
the lore. We saw him at the end, like when the Mr. Strange guy comes in and was it Adam Warlock?
No, Adam Warlock is Guardians.
Adam Strange.
Adam Strange.
See, I get confused with Doctor Strange and Adam Warlock. Adam Strange.
Yeah. Adam Warlock is the Guardians.
Yes.
And, yeah. Okay. So you were saying.
So Adam Strange comes in and he's kind of explaining it. Like, I liked it a lot.
And
you know what it does at the other, like, you know, we talk about how much I hate the Flash and Gotham. This show really touches the lore a lot. Like, it gives us a lot. Like, they don't hide Superman. They don't hide what's going on in the universe.
If I have this correct, let me just to fill our friends in. Spoiler alert! If you don't want to know, kind of the basic background of the story.
If you want to go in zero now.
So, 1, 2, 3 spoiler. So in this show, you're following Clark's grandfather, who watches his father get executed for telling them that there's this impending doom.
No, his grandfather watches his grandfather.
Okay, there you go. Okay, so
that's his grandfather. So so basically, I would say his grandfather's the best scientist on Krypton.
Okay.
And in the Krypton, it's almost like a civil war where they have a board and it gets overthrown by this leader who wears a four-sided mask with faces on it.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
It is kind of cool. It's creepy. And we have no idea what that is yet. Like, that's going to be a while. And so basically, like, you find out Krypton when it started is like if you have a name like Jor-El or Kal-El, like the L's, you're a known family. You're up here on the top. And if you're a no name,
like
if you're a no brand,
or Kennedy,
to a bigger extent, because if you have no brand or no name, you live in the bottom. You don't live with the flying cars. You live in kind of the gutters, and you're just kind of surviving doing manual labor.
Slum up Krypton.
It's a slum, yeah. Like there's a slum of Krypton at this
wow.
point. Because again, this is taking out like a long, like 50 years before even Superman or like Jor-El is around. So it's really cool, and like you get Zod's great thing. Like you got Clark's Zod's grandmother and Clark's grandfather have a thing.
That's so funny.
And Zod's great grandmother is like the leader of the army.
But it's far enough from what we know of the Superman.
It adds a lot
to add like this really cool story.
So like basically the whole story with the L's is like the grandfather. So Clark's great grandfather, beautiful, great scientist. But once it turns over, he makes a fortress. He doesn't like what's going on. They strip them their name. So at this point in the show, there is no L's. The House of L is dead when Clark's grandfather is basically starting it up again. So basically you can tell the show's going to kind of lead into like, hey, I'm going to start a rebellion, get my name back, and like get my L's and like.
Can you hold that thought for 1 second? How cool is it that we live in a day and age where people know what the hell Jor-El, Kal-El are like? Like it's not. I don't have to say Superman. It was one thing when you had to say who's Clark Kent.
Yeah.
Now I could just say, do you know who Kal-El is?
Oh, you better know.
Like
it's
so
weird.
It's so crazy. Like that we're in a day and age where people are like, no. That also I want to yell at.
Oh, and the grandfather name is Zeg.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Here I want to yell at anybody who's gonna hate because I'm gonna go ahead and watch it today. If you say, how can a show on Sci-Fi be good? Battlestar Galactica.
What was that one show? 12 Monkeys was really good. Like they got a couple good shows.
Haven. They
the zombie show that like I don't like, but like a lot of people niche to it better than Walking Dead. So
honestly, it's what would happen if the CW or any of those type of networks got like money and like were able to produce something.
Like Sci-Fi's making movies now.
Yeah.
Like Sci-Fi's.
I'm excited.
Sci-Fi's got a niche.
Let me just put it to in a world where we got Gotham, I'm excited that we got something that seems to be able to more put your teeth into. Where like I don't need you know what? I see Bruce Wayne, damn it. Like I see him. Why don't I have Batman?
Yeah.
This one's like, don't worry about that. Don't worry about any of that.
Like we're not gonna hide Superman's cape. Here's Superman's cape.
You know what's coming. But what I find crazy, and I'm so excited to see this because you again down the nerd rabbit hole. Brainiac, that's our guy. Like we know what Brainiac is.
Yeah.
We all we've ever asked for since 2004 was when can I see Brainiac in a big screen? How do you feel the fact that we see him on the television screen? Does that make you think Man of Steel 2 is like not a thing?
No, because I just think like it comes down to even Marvel and DC when the movie studios they don't look at the television. Like we used to think like, hey, maybe they're gonna kind of
very interesting.
They don't look at television because like they don't connect it all. And I think like in our world maybe it's more connected than in their world. In their world, it's so busy with the movies that they're not even like, oh yeah, I forgot we had a Punisher TV show, huh?
Very interesting.
Interesting. I forgot
because
about
like
that.
they do make mandates where it's like Batman won't be on television.
Yeah,
like,
I think that's what it comes down to. And I don't think that's from the top. That's just from contracts of like, yeah, we really can't have him on the show.
But we've seen Superman on television a lot. Like not even with the new Arrowverse, but like the Adventures of Lois and Clark was a thing.
I think
that
just goes back to like when it comes to movies, Superman hasn't been as popular since the first movies. And Batman. They're a little more protective about Batman because it is Batman, and they revamp him every 10 years. Compared to Superman, really, where like they haven't had a really successful, I would say, revamp because even Man of Steel is very torn in the middle-ish or like 70-30.
Let me ask you this: had Man of Steel been about Brainiac and not about Zod, do you think it would have hit more in home? Because I think this idea of like what I really think what I
thought Zod was great because I love
agree.
Man of Steel.
I love Michael Shannon. I love.
I know that's a great first story to tell because I think you can't come out with Brainiac.
But you want to know?
That's a lot of lore of Krypton and him finding out about his
past. All right,
past.
so then work this out with me. The reason I'm going with this is if you were going to make Superman grittier, which was the plan, like you wanted to make him more in today's day and age of movie making, you wanted to make him as gritty as you can make Superman. I think the problem with Zod was it's too humanoid. It's a human. It's we've never seen Superman kill somebody. Spoiler alert.
It has lasers out.
Let alone human, but somebody that looks like us. Which I think like had the main bad guy been Mongol, been Doomsday, been somebody like. Well, I agree with you. Well, the lore made. Well,
you're angry at me, Mike.
But what I'm saying though is like I love Man of Steel. I love that story.
I don't think there's a better bad guy than Zod to go for
I
the
don't
first
disagree,
one.
but what I'm saying is for the novice, the people who found this, like, that's not my Superman. I think a lot of it is this weird moment when you see Superman break somebody's neck. Now, imagine if he was able to destroy Metello, or if he was able to destroy
That's a lot of
Paris.
niche, though, I feel
agree,
like.
Alex.
Because now you got to go into...
But do you understand the point I'm trying to make of it's not about... It's not about the story.
I guess I get your point, but it doesn't make sense to me because then who's he going to fight? Like, because at that point, then, like, I guess Lex Luthor with a robot or something? Like, what are we going to do?
And unfortunately, what I'm saying to you is the people the average person, that's what they wanted.
Like, to me, I guess, like, I get your point, but to me it doesn't make sense because
I'm
then,
not
like,
saying it does have to make sense.
because at that point we're not going to make a Superman movie because there really is no bad guy for him to go up first that makes more sense than Zod.
This is why I'm bringing to the point of, like, I don't understand why since Donner's Superman it hasn't been like Batman, and I realized because Batman could go to places as a creator that we allow the creator to take Batman to, but we don't allow Superman creators to get there. And I think a lot of that is when we did get to that moment, it was a visual that I don't think people, not us, not diehards, not people ready for that fresh take of a superhero that we love, and in a genre, in a time period of movies that were like that. I think there could have been other ways. Being armchair quarterback 10 years later.
I don't think so because I think 10 years ago, like, it did make money. It did. It did.
I love that. I love Man of Steel.
And like I said, it wasn't 50-50 reviews. It was more like 70% people liked it. Only like a short 30% didn't like it.
What I'm talking about now, looking all
and
the
I think
way
Zack
to
Snyder
this
is
point.
something like it's cool to hate Zack Snyder.
I love Zack Snyder.
I think that was
this
another thing why
I
think that 30% didn't even like it just because it's Zack Snyder. Like, that was more a thing.
Point.
Like, I don't think it was the movie. I think, like, no matter what he did with the movie, they weren't going to like it because it's Zack Snyder.
You know, break the fourth wall down. Like, I love Man of Steel. I love Zack Snyder. I love Henry Cavill. I love Michael Shannon. Like, to me, that movie is phenomenal.
I think there's no better way you can do it because you can't do Brainiac because that is so much Krypton lore that you're like, we need another movie to do that.
Don't at me, but Man of Steel is the best DCEU movie.
Wonder Woman.
I think Wonder Woman is, like, the 1B. Like, I really love Wonder Woman, but I think...
Wow, Mike hates woman. He called it B.
Oh, yeah. I love Wonder Woman. But when you ask me which movie makes me think more, which movie just makes me go to a different place, it's Man of Steel.
Wonder Woman, Man of Steel, Justice League, Batman vs. Superman, Suicide Squad.
Ew. Okay, yeah, sure. If you want to go there.
I'm
not mad at that.
That's only 5 movies.
Yeah,
right?
I'm not mad at one.
Of course, it was like it's number 5. Like, there's no other movies.
Do you want to hit anything else? What else do we got to talk about?
Deadpool got canceled. The show did. Glover's kind of pissed.
Do we want to yell?
No, we're not going to yell about it. The problem with, like, my problem with Glover sometimes is I'm like, he kind of smells his own shit a little sometimes. Where
He does.
I'm like, we get it, dude. You're a creative genius. And no one's denying you're a creative genius.
Like, he is a creative genius.
But you're not. This is Hollywood. You're not going to get everything. You're not going to be able to do everything. Even Spielberg doesn't get to do everything. Or James Cameron doesn't get to do everything.
I told this to Nicole.
Take it back a notch, homie.
I told this to Nicole about Donald Glover. He got a little too much Kanye in him sometimes.
Sometimes
he got a little too much Kanye in him sometimes.
Like, you're not really Lando, right?
Not
like,
enough.
You can't be that smart.
He doesn't, because, like, he's boys with all these guys. Like, he doesn't have as much chance in him. He's got more Kanye, and I'm like, man, like, you could sign up.
I get it. Your music's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Every movie you've ever been in as a small role, phenomenal.
Your
You're
shows,
Lando.
You wrote for 30
Atlanta's
Rock,
one of the greatest shows to
Community.
come out in modern time. I get it.
Yeah, we got it, yeah.
But, dude, take it back a notch. Like, even Spielberg and Cameron don't get everything. And Tarantino.
Shout out to Donald Glover.
Like, yes. Do we drink the Kool-Aid at Glover? Of course.
Of course, yeah.
I don't think everyone does, though. Like,
I don't. Yeah, you're right.
Like,
probably.
I'm not a big fan of his music. Like, I like his music.
I love his music because I think it's so...
It's not my type.
It's unique, though. It is unique. And that's what I appreciate about Donald Glover. He's very unique. But, again, it just goes to the point where the IP is more important than the director.
I don't see a Deadpool show doing like that's more like a Netflix thing. You put that on Netflix. I don't
that would be fun.
I think you put it on FX. Like, but who watches TV anymore?
That's a fair point.
Like, do people really watch TV?
Point.
Like,
people watch, but
like FX is such an adult network too, where it's like I think it's even a little older than our generation, where it's more like the Fargo stuff, where it's a little bit older. And I'm not saying those people aren't
the youngest demographic.
Like, I'm not saying those people aren't fans of stuff like Deadpool. I'm just saying, like, I think it would be better. I could see it being more like a Hulu Netflix.
Sure, but it was the home of It's Always Sunny, so like they do have that history.
Does anyone watch that anymore?
I don't know. The League, like they do have.
Died out at the end.
I agree. I'm not disagreeing with that, but they do have the history of like being able to bring in adult comedy.
Oh, like I said, it's got great shows like Fargo and
ATL.
And what was that one with Tom Hardy?
Oh, give me
the one that I didn't watch because it was kind of boring.
Yeah, no, go
but
ahead.
Like, it ended up getting good reviews. Like,
yeah, go ahead.
Like FXX, like that's another problem. It's like, is it FX or FXX? Like, that's a little confusing at times. You know,
no, that's a big thing that I think a lot.
Like, it is very random at times.
But
so
like
that's
we're moving into that thing where it's all about just being able to have content. And like FX,
oh yeah, you gotta have
FX
content.
is going to eventually FX will come out.
They got the depth of Versace, and then they had the Riches, and like they
Taboo.
That's what it was.
But
got a tattoo.
But yeah, but the thing is though, it's all about content, about the IP. So FX will make the show eventually. Fox will make this Deadpool show. Not bearing the lead, but we literally just talked about Fox making these weird moves with their properties right now, and I wonder if it has to do with Disney. Maybe this is one of those things where like, hey, chill off on that Deadpool show right now. Like, we got something we want to do with that.
Or how about maybe let's wait till Deadpool 2 comes out
and see if it hits.
What if it comes out, no matter how good it is, people are comparing
Speaking
it to
the truth.
Hey, it's not as good as part 1 though.
Maybe it's the hangover effect.
And I think it's also a problem where like I feel bad for Deadpool 2 kind of because the way it's coming out, and like if it's not as good as part 1, that's like that's a bigger negative than positive.
Can it be better than part 1? I mean, it can be.
Yes.
Yeah, but
Marvel's proved that Marvel makes better sequels.
Fair
Winter
enough.
Soldier better than First Avenger.
Thor Ragnarok, the third one, was better than any of the first two.
So that's possible. That's about it for news, right?
Yeah. So we went ahead and teased it. Everybody knows if you're here in the city of Chicago, where we're located, Loyola Ramblers are in the Final Four.
What's a Ramblers? That's just a wolf.
I don't know.
It looks like a wolf.
Their original logo was a hobo, so I don't know if it was.
I see a wolf every time.
Yeah.
So I'm just calling
I do love their logo.
The wolves.
Yeah. So the Loyola Ramblers, in surprising fashion, as an 11th seed, going ahead and playing the Michigan Wolverines, and then on the other side you have Villanova versus Kansas.
Hate Kansas.
I actually picked Kansas in the beginning. I thought it was between. This is my final.
Release the bracket, Mike. Release the bracket.
Release my taxes.
Right, release them.
It really got us going because all over the internet you saw it. Everybody was talking about just different type of brackets. They had brackets for everything: candy bars, cereals, movies.
It's fun. Like it's fun to do brackets
time.
It's March
Because exactly, it's March, and we went ahead and we jumped on in and we attacked our own list. So Alex, you want to go ahead and preview your Clark Kellogg of CBS Sports here on.
I don't watch CBS. So
all right, you're Charles Barkley. How
about
that?
So we're basically taking. Where'd you find this? What website exactly? BuzzFeed. So BuzzFeed released probably the one everyone's been seeing on Facebook. The retweeted one, like a lot of jokes from millennials and this about Pixar. About Disney and Pixar. The most famous Disney Pixar movies.
So the one side of the bracket is the Disney movies. On the other side is the Pixar movies.
Yeah.
I wanted to mix them up, but you know what? I thought this was a clean way.
We wanted to because again, we would sit here an hour arguing of why he mixed it up or like why'd you rank the number one a-hole. Right. So we're like, you know what? Let's just take exactly what they have, do our bracket. Because, like, we talked about it when you walked in this morning, and I'm like, man, we're already disagreeing on 3 things.
Right.
Because Mike's fake and does fake news.
So here's how – all right, Alex Jones. So here's what I'm going to do. Here's how we're going to do it. We're going to go ahead, and we're going to do each round. We're going to make our picks, and then we're just going to continue with our brackets as we go on. And whatever round you have in your round, you talk about it, whatever I have in the round. Hopefully we agree on some of it. Hopefully we disagree on most of it. So at least it makes for some good content. Alex, what was our first round matchup in the Disney bracket?
Lion King versus Tarzan, which I hated that they ranked them so close. I freaking love
these rankings are hard though when you start looking at them because there's some on the Pixar that really upset me. But
I'm gonna be real with everyone. Like I love Lion King, but Lion King wasn't my original Disney movie because that's more Aladdin.
Yeah.
So when it comes down to it, Tarzan soundtrack, just Tarzan in general, I pick
I
Tarzan. They little them. They're my upset.
Wow.
I get Tarzan because I like the music better. Phil Collins.
Yes.
Like, come on. Like, it's such a beautiful movie.
Was Sting also on the soundtrack?
Probably.
Yeah. Okay. I had the Lion King.
And, like, I get it. Like, mine's more an upset. So
and I love Tarzan. Like, Tarzan made
Tarzan's
parkour cool.
Man. Like, he's skateboarding, like, the toys. And, like, Rosie O'Donnell was a monkey.
Yeah, it was so great.
I love that the girl from Frasier was the voice of Dad. Like, I love that.
It's such a good movie. It's a really good... The scene at the end where they kill... the Hunter guy. Yeah, it was
Kerchak.
No, his name is Craven.
And the next Craven the Hunter, Mike.
The next round we had Princess and the Frog against Lilo and Stitch.
Sweet.
I went with Lilo and Stitch.
Lilo and Stitch. That was easy. We grew up on that movie.
Yeah. Lilo and Stitch.
Elvis Presley means family.
Yeah, and
family means no one left behind.
And a Elvis soundtrack. So,
like my roommate in college, we literally called him Stitch. Like
such a good movie.
But his wife, like my girl, she's gonna be mad at pick Lion King. So like.
Yeah,
I'm not going to share this one with her because she has a Lion King tattoo behind her ear with Simba on the wall. So, like, she's going to kill me. She's going to kill me if she ever finds out I picked Tarzan. So, we're just not going to mention
In one
that
I think you and I disagreed with, what do we have in the third round?
I picked the Great Beautiful Movie Tangled, and you picked the overhyped Big Hero 6 with a big fat plush guy.
I thought Big Hero 6 was a cool movie just for the fact of the brother dynamic. It was in that beginning stages of the superhero movement. It was kind of following that trend of Wreck-It Ralph. I really enjoyed just like the what Disney's do sometimes is like the charm. Yeah, just like the art and just
kind
like
of
anime-ish.
Yeah,
like Tokyo,
I like
San Francisco.
But Tangled brought back the princess to Disney of like, hey, we brought princess back, but guess what? They're modern princess. Like, I think she's kind of a badass, and Flint's one of the best male protagonists we've ever had.
My problem with Tangled is eventually we saw it done better. And I think that's the same thing with Brave later.
I've only seen it like one time, but okay.
But and then to me, the toughest matchup to you, I think it was an easy one.
But to me, you like The Rock, Mike.
Frozen versus Moana. I have Moana. Again, you talk about two movies that for two different reasons hit people in different ways. To me, Moana just hit me.
I also think Moana's newer, so that's why it's a little easier to pick Moana.
Maybe.
Fake.
Frozen's more famous.
Frozen, like, if you go to Disney World right now, Frozen is it. Like, Frozen's as big as Mickey Mouse.
I don't think that makes it better.
Yes, it does.
It just makes it more popular.
Better. The characters were better. The Rock can't sing. I love The Rock. He can't sing.
I mean, You're Welcome is a...
Let It Go, Mike. Let It Go is still played everywhere.
Yeah, Let It Go's great.
Like, difference is Moana's fresh in people's minds. It came out, like 2 years ago? Yeah. Frozen's still fresh in people's minds. It came out, like, 10 years ago.
They're both great movies.
Like, it totally revamped, like... now we might find out Elsa might have a girlfriend, and we find out they totally threw the whole prince, like the prince is the bad guy in this one, and Olaf is everywhere, like he's almost a mascot.
The movie's great. I'm just saying
I don't see a Moana ride at any of the parks yet, and Frozen got a ride the very next year.
I mean, until they make the mountain into the Moana mountain.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
We'll see.
Sorry, that's Star Wars land.
Go ahead and
there's another tough
one. This is a great one. Yeah,
but
I thought you were going to go something different with this one, but then I realized
Aladdin's probably going to win it all.
I agree.
On this side.
Yeah.
But it was Aladdin versus Hercules. Yeah. And that one hurts because I wish I would have done it because I would have put Hercules. I would have put all my movies in corners. Yep. But, like, as much as I love Hercules, as much as I can go the distance. Like, I listen to that at the gym. I will find my way.
No, I know.
And, like, the ending, it's so, oh, my God, like, it's such a great movie. Hades,
I love Hercules. I love Hercules.
But it's Aladdin. Like, Riff Raff Street Rat. I don't buy that. Like, it's Aladdin. Like,
Aladdin.
It's a sweep, but God, I'm so mad that they are against each other.
This was the game of this. If we were watching the actual tournament, this
I kind of wish they would have spread out
Pixar
and Disney together instead of one side, because like a lot of good movies are going to get taken out.
Yeah, I agree.
As much as I talked bad about Moana, I love Moana. Like, I do love The Rock.
Can I tell you the one that was the easiest for me? Is this one? I had Pocahontas over The Little Mermaid.
Yeah, we're not Little Mermaid people.
I get why.
I get Mel Gibson was John Smith. Like, I love Pocahontas. Again, the music.
The music was better. And the art was better. Yeah. But
I just love the music. I love it better.
Like the grandmother
she's
tree.
brown.
It was just great.
It related more. Little Mermaid's fine. Like, I like Kiss the Girl. I like half that movie. I think a lot happens, but it came out a very, like, that wasn't our movie when it came out. Like, I saw it when I got older and I was dating girls and, like, they made me watch it. I actually really enjoyed it.
Big thing is, I was much more of a Beauty and the Beast fan than I was
I do love Beauty and the Beast, yeah.
And we'll get to a little bit of controversy.
But because you also have a male protagonist that you can kind of hitch on to.
Yeah.
I think Little Mermaid's very, like, you only can hitch on to her.
Or the crab.
Or Sebastian. And I like Sebastian, but
what's the fish's name? I always forget the fish's name. Flounder, thank you. This was one that, for some reason, if you go on the internet...
I saw. You're fake as hell.
For some reason...
Everyone, Mike only picks the movies that came out recently.
Bullshit, though, because Zootopia is a better movie than Mulan.
Mulan changed everything. Mulan put the princess on their head. She's a warrior, Mike.
Yeah, she's great. But Zootopia was the only
get down to business.
Zootopia was the only Disney movie that I can recall that really took social... class issues and really drove it home.
My jaw dropped, people. Like, he's talking about Mulan. She's the Chinese woman who was told marry a man, joined the army, and saved the Chinese empire.
Yeah,
and the man came after her. And she has Eddie Murphy as a dragon, Mike. Eddie Murphy's a dragon in that movie. This was the original donkey.
Zootopia.
Like, come on, dude. Really? Wow.
Zootopia.
Wow, people. Mike,
I don't care. Zootopia's better.
Mike hates women, Mike.
No, I don't.
Like, man, it's still better than Wonder Woman. He hates Mulan, the first female warrior.
No.
And Eddie Murphy. He hates Eddie Murphy, too. So just so everyone knows. And music. So apparently.
I don't.
Because can you name one song in Zootopia?
No.
Exactly. I can name 10
Great.
in Mulan.
Awesome. Zootopia is a better movie.
No, it's not.
On to the next one.
Zootopia got a live action. Oh, wait, that's Mulan coming up.
Awesome. Great. Cool story, bro.
God,
Zootopia's better.
Fake.
Zootopia's better. Beauty and the Beast versus A Nightmare Before Christmas. Again, hate me. Nightmare Before Christmas.
I'm gonna go with that too.
Oh,
I think that's more personal for us, and like we're not gonna say it's a better movie. It's not. It's not. Beauty and the Beast, better music, better everything.
Yeah, Beauty and the Beast.
But Nightmare Before Christmas is one of our movies. Like growing up, like there's probably like 6 movies, 7 movies.
This is the upset.
That's one of them.
This is my upset. This was the one.
Yeah, I could see it.
This is
but like that's our movie. We love this movie. Like I love Jack Skellington. Boogie Oogie.
Yeah.
Like, I love that movie. Like, it's just for like this very personal list. It always is.
Yeah, of course.
Especially with movies. It's not like we're looking at skills and tracks.
But
Like,
you know what?
But
We
like,
actually
Nightmare
agree.
Before Christmas.
For a lot
Yeah,
of
like we both agree on that. That was our movie as kids growing up, and we still quote that movie, love that movie. Like, yeah, I see it. Like, I love, and again, some of these movies would have gone on if they weren't facing these other movies. Because I love Beauty and the Beast. That's my favorite princess movie.
I love
is
Beauty and the Beast. I love Beauty and the Beast. Yeah, I love Beauty and the Beast.
So I'm not gonna like again. Like Beauty and the Beast is the better movie.
Yeah,
but
easily.
Never Christmas to us was more personal and like I like that's our favorite Christmas movie or Halloween movie probably.
Now it doesn't get any easier over on the Pixar.
I feel like
side.
it's a little bit easier honestly because I feel like Pixar is either like hit or miss.
It's an
as for
interesting
Disney,
perspective.
we're like
You've always
all
been like,
pretty solid.
You've always been like that about Pixar.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that maybe when we get closer to the Incredibles. But in the first matchup, we have Up versus Brave. Again, I like Brave. Up is a better movie.
Brave's fine. Brave is very like that's like
We'll fight about Up in a
seed.
second though. We're gonna fight about Up in a little while. So go ahead and save that idea. This is one where I'm with you where the seating just pissed me off. But
I'm kind of glad they did this
Go ahead and
because
give it
if
to
you
us.
had put Toy Stories in the corners,
they all
you're all gonna make it because like
what's the matchup?
Toy Story 1, Toy Story 2. Now, this is interesting. Like, so we're going to say, because I have your list, but I didn't look. I promise I didn't look. On 3, I want you to say which one you pick, either 1 or 2.
So the number itself, not Toy Story. Say the number.
The number. So
Okay.
3, 2, 1, 2.
2.
Yes. All right. Good. I love Toy Story 1. Doesn't age incredibly well.
I agree.
The chemistry's not necessarily there.
2 is
Toy Story 2, it hits that stride of like,
2 is,
man, it's fun.
yeah,
like,
I agree.
there's
And it
your
has the voice of
Jesse
Newman.
and Bullseye,
Yeah,
and you get the you get the prospector. Like it's just 2 hits the stride. Like as good as 1 is, man, 2 just hits
Is
that.
the prospect
like,
Kelsey
going.
Grammer?
Yeah. No, it's not Kelsey Grammer.
Who's the prospector?
I don't remember. It's someone famous, probably. Like
I don't know why I pulled Kelsey
like
Grammer.
I love Toy Story 1. I really do. I really do.
I love Toy Story
It's a little
1.
dark at times.
I love Sid though.
Like I think Sid is what helps it too, and the ending helps. So, like I love the ending when they're flying.
Yes.
And, like the car. And, like I love the scene with Buzz. He finds a human. But I feel like 2 has more fun. And 2 really hits like the animation starts looking better.
Well, what's weird is I think Toy Story 1. What the fondness I have of Toy Story 1 is the nostalgia of like just remember the VHS previews of it and just like the phenomena that it was. It was Tom Hanks and Tim Allen.
Again,
Like
we're not comparing it to like Frozen or Brave. We're comparing it to Toy Story 2. So obviously the sequel, Toy Story is one of the only series where every sequel gets better than the original.
I
and
agree.
We'll see that later. Like we'll see that later when we get Toy Story 3. But like every sequel got better and better. So basically Captain America does. We're like, I love First Avenger. Winter Soldier was better. Damn, Civil War was even better than that. Shit.
hold on, Alex. Alex, you want to know how good I am? It sure as hell was Kelsey
He did a
Grammer.
great job with the voice in that movie too. But like he was such a good bad guy. Like, and we got a toy bad guy for the first time, which sets up for Lotso. Lotso Hugging Bear.
I love Lotso too. Let's go ahead. We can talk about this. Okay, I lied. The easiest one for me.
Yeah.
Coco versus Cars 3. Coco.
Yeah.
Like, let's go ahead.
Like, at least put the original Cars there. Like Cars 3, like okay.
Cars ends up making it, but Cars is on the bracket.
Yeah.
Cars the original Cars would have given Coco a run, but Coco
I would have thought about it more. But
Coco is like, it's going to take something
that
special.
might be the easiest one, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm looking around like that might be the easiest one.
The easiest one is actually right next to it. Toy Story 3 versus Good Dinosaur. Toy Story 3.
Never saw Good Dinosaur.
Yeah.
Don't
Toy
really
Story
want to
3.
see Good Dinosaur. Toy Story 3 is probably my favorite to win this all.
Yeah, I love Toy Story 3. Toy Story 3 is my favorite Toy Story.
Like it really is.
We'll get into that in a little while. I think we're going to have a big conversation about that. This is what I'm really interested in because I love both of these. But Bugs Life and Ratatouille. I love Ratatouille, but Bugs Life, right?
got like a class to it. A class that's like I love Hopper. He's one of the best Pixar bad guys there was, and like I love the message of it. Like how like we can't let them gain up because it's very like it's a good message for today. It's like like you may not be able to do something on your own. But if you, as a people come together, you can win. Like, you can defeat the evil. And, like, honestly, like...
a bigger evil.
Like, that, honestly, like, they need to make that again. Because that movie has more of a message nowadays than it did then of, like, hey, as an individual, maybe you can't change. But as a group, you can fight evil. You can fight tyranny.
Dude, A Bug's Life is so good, it makes ants look good, okay?
Like,
that's how good Bug's Life is. I love ants,
like
but that's how good Bug's Life is. It rubs off.
I like Ratatouille too, though.
I love Ratatouille.
But I don't love
Patton
Ratatouille.
Oswalt, that's my guy.
Yeah, I don't love Ratatouille. It's fine. How about this? I am terrified of rats, and Ratatouille I can enjoy, so that's how good it must have been, where you might know, terrified of rats. Like, I've been my whole life traumatized. But it makes me like, kind of like, yeah, I kind of like it, actually.
How about this one? Nemo versus Inside Out.
Nemo.
I liked Inside Out, but Nemo was much more.
I think Inside Out's a little overrated.
I think Nemo is just so much more hits you in the heart in so many ways. Like, it's just so much more. And there is a weird emotion Inside Out has because it's about emotions. Yeah. But Nemo didn't have that as a gimmick.
Yo, Ellen.
Yeah, Ellen.
Who don't love Ellen?
Right.
Come on.
Fish are friends, not food.
Come on, Bruce.
Yeah,
Come on.
So
I just love that movie. Like, Nemo's great. And that's another one we grew up on, so we're a little biased because we had the DVD without the cable when we used to steal cable.
Right. Monsters, Inc. versus Cars.
Oh, Monsters, Inc.
I got Monsters,
Again,
Inc.
Monsters, Inc.'s the dark horse of this whole thing.
Hey, if we were a little bit younger, Cars might have beat Monsters, Inc.
No, I'm not ignorant because John Goodman is my
Oh, I agree. Oh, my God. We're back. God, he made We're Back good. I love John Goodman. Roseanne is back.
I love Monsters, Inc.
Did you watch Roseanne?
No, not yet. Don't tell me.
Okay. We'll save that for next week. Okay.
I'm watching Hulu. Don't tell me.
It was good.
It looks amazing.
Yeah.
Yes. I can't wait.
Incredibles versus Wall-E. These are two former national champions going against each other in the first round.
Wall-E's a little too political for me at times. I gotta go Incredibles because superheroes, guys.
I agree.
This is basically a cover for a superhero podcast.
Yeah,
so, like,
right.
It's Incredibles.
So if anybody knows, we're done with the first round. Alex and I only disagreed in two matchups. He has Tangled over Big Hero 6. I have Zootopia over Mulan. Alex has Mulan.
God, you're so fake. That really upset me, Mike.
So this is where I think we might start disagreeing more. Let's go ahead and move on to the second round. The Lion King versus Lilo and Stitch.
No, I had Tarzan, remember?
I'm sorry, you had Tarzan.
But I think we can both...
Oh, my goodness, that's right. I'm so sorry.
We both agree. I think Lilo and Stitch moves on for me.
I have Lion King that moves on.
See, that's where we start different. I have Lilo and Stitch because, like, I love the aspect of family in that movie of, like, it's real. Like, yo, this sister, like, the parents are dead, the sister's poor, you got the FBI after them, you got the big fat alien, you got the original Roger, the alien, dressing up as a woman.
Yeah.
I just love the message of, like, friendship and, like, hey, he's a monster, but someone loves him.
I totally agree.
I'm like, hey, I'm a monster, too, and I hope I can find love like that.
I totally agree, and it's the effect of Stitch was just the right amount of cuteness and still the right amount of awesomeness. Lilo was just enough, a little bit of a badass.
She's
a little
a
bit of
badass,
Like, it works. The sister is real. The sister's like a real character.
Like, I love that movie so much. Like, there's a meme on the internet of, like, Lilo growing up, but Stitch doesn't grow up, and he's crying. I'm like, why am I getting emotional watching? Looking at a picture, guys.
It's great.
So I got Lilo and Stitch going on to the.
I have Lion King moving on, but the reason why I have Lion King moving on, it's a Macbeth, and Macbeth is timeless. So Alex has Lilo and Stitch moving on. I
got Lilo and Stitch moving on for me.
On the next round, I had Big Hero 6 versus Moana. In my matchup, I have Moana moving on from Big Hero 6. This, again, has to deal with just maybe, and Alex may be correct about it, but it's the modern tale of not following your heart and doing what you're...
So you would call it Mulan, basically.
Maybe.
But not as good.
Maybe. That's an interesting counterpoint.
Who do you have
in your
Frozen. Frozen moves on.
All right, Frozen moves on.
It was Frozen, yeah, because I picked Frozen.
You had Frozen versus Tangled, right?
I don't think Big Hero 6... I think that was if Frozen Moana was going to win that going forward, honestly, for either of us.
Yeah, that was
because I feel like Big Hero 6 and Tangled were kind of a weaker side of, like, I like Tangled, but it's not Frozen. Frozen, again, changed Disney again. It revamped it almost.
How about this? A VHS classic matchup, Aladdin versus Pocahontas. I have Aladdin moving forward.
Aladdin.
Okay,
come on, his name's Aladdin. He has a monkey named Abu. That's me. I want a monkey named Abu.
But shout out to Pocahontas for obviously everything that we got.
She made it further than we thought we would have.
Alex in his matchup has Mulan versus Beauty and the Beast.
Not the modern
I have Zootopia versus
doesn't even know how to say
Nightmare Before Christmas. English is my second language, Alex. Technically that's right. Don't look at me like that.
No, it's not.
Technically that's correct.
What was your first word? Mom or dad? Not mom.
That's the same thing in Spanish.
No, it's not.
Shut the hell up.
No, it's not.
Alex, who do you have in your movie on?
That's a tough one.
I have Zootopia moving forward, if it makes any difference for you. Beating Nightmare Before Christmas.
I'm going to go Nightmare Before Christmas, a little over Mulan. Do you know me? I love Nightmare Before Christmas.
That's good. That's a good one. I'm not mad at you.
I was a super mark for Nightmare Before Christmas.
I'm not mad at you. All right.
Like, he just wants to have some fun and be loved. This whole list is, I think, a mix to us, like Mike hates women, and Alex just wants to be loved. You know?
Unbelievable. I love women. I'm trying to get an all-woman show on this damn network. Leave me alone. How about this one, Alex?
That was a little faster. Okay.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
Up versus Toy Story 2 against me, the dark horse, maybe? Toy Story 2, Up. This is where I wanted to get with you. Up is a great movie. Up is all about, though, the first 15 minutes. Once that happens, Up becomes a very average Pixar movie.
So here's my thing. I'm going to argue with you because I think it's Toy Story 2 because I love Toy Story 2. I like the message.
I love both these movies, by the way.
But Up, I feel like gets a bad rap about that. I don't think it's that it goes average. I think the fact that beginning was so perfect.
Maybe, okay.
That, like, you have 100%, you go down to a 95, you're like, that's a lower score, but, like, not by much.
I agree.
Because I do like the relationship with the little Asian, with the little fat kid.
The little fat kid.
I like the ending where, like, his dad's not there and he gives him the thing, and, like,
the dog
the
is
whole
amazing.
dog and the bird, and, like.
And the other old man and his dogs.
How he has to sacrifice, like, what he thinks his wife would have wanted compared to, like, no, she wanted me to be a better person, sort of thing. So, like, I get that it's not as strong as the beginning, but it's because the beginning is one of the best beginnings, and not only movie, like cartoon movies, movie history. It's probably the best 10 minutes of any movie. I'm counting Wizard of Oz, Jurassic Park, Jaws.
I agree.
Any crazy movie ever?
Yeah, anything.
This is probably one of the best 10 minutes ever.
I'll say one thing. That first 10 minutes is so strong.
Nothing can live up to it.
It gave them like a 10-point early lead against Toy Story 2.
Like
and Toy Story 2 had to come back.
But Toy Story 2, like, I like the message with Jesse, like, when you were mine.
Oh,
like,
the
song.
storyline's so great. The Darth Vader, the Buzz Lightyear and his General. What's the
General Zod?
Is it Zed?
No,
Zed.
And
then Zed
with Superman.
Yeah. But then that they have the whole Star Wars parody
with the second Buzz Lightyear.
I love the Rex and him playing the video game throughout the whole storyline.
I just love Toy Story 2. Like, it's just it's better. It's a little better.
So
it's a little deeper. I like the ending. I like the beginning.
Alex, can I tell you the one that hurt me the most when I made this when we were
good? Because I was hoping you weren't gonna be fake just because you're around. But
Coco
like, Toy Story 3 is better
versus Toy Story 3.
Yes.
I think Coco is a special movie. Toy Story 3 is the best. Well, I'll say
probably the best Pixar movie ever made.
Toy Story 3. We both agree. On to the other one. We have a Bugs Life versus Nemo. I'm going Nemo.
I'm going Bugs Life.
Interesting. Okay. Why would you go Bugs Life over Nemo?
Better bad guy.
Okay.
Better message.
Okay.
And Nemo bothers me. He's a little punk.
I would argue, too, that there's not really a bad guy in Nemo, so that's interesting that you would...
the bad guy is time. Time is the bad guy in Nemo, or acceptance is the bad guy in
very
Nemo.
interesting. So an interesting round.
I love A Bug's Life, though. I love the message in A Bug's Life about, like...
Bugs Life is great. Bugs Life is great,
it's
especially...
Great. Like, I love... it came out so long ago, and it was one of the originals, that people kind of forget about it, because
it was one of the
they
originals.
haven't really touched it in, like, ever.
Yeah.
But it's like, I love the message of, as a unit... You can do it, and I love that the bad guy accepts that. He's like, hey, if they find out, if I let them slip one time, I love that part where he throws the little seeds at the dude. He's like, that hurt? No, that hurt? Yeah. And dumps them all on him. He's like, and kills him basically. He's like, this is what could happen if we let them slip one time, dude. So I love that, like, evilness in him.
I don't disagree. I think you make up great points. I think Nemo, just for me, it's one of those. At any age of your life,
Mike
it hits you.
Didn't have a relationship. People.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I didn't know him. I have my. What does he call his Lucky Finn? It's Lucky Finn, right? It's Lucky Finn. Another great matchup, Alex. Again, two former NCAA champions in their own rights. The Incredibles, Monsters Inc. I told you before recording.
They're both going to have them both make it. Yeah, they're teaming up.
To me,
damn, what'd you pick? I didn't look.
Billy Crystal, John Goodman, Monsters Inc. To me, it's the most endearing, lovable.
I agree
it's
with
just
you.
so
it's one of the real friendship movies. Like, I love Incredibles. I really do. People like it's just Monsters Inc. I love the friendship that they have of like I love that part where he's like, "What about me? Do I matter?" Like when he's trying to say "boo." And it's like so dearing because he's like, dude, like he has done a lot for your best friend, and like I love Monsters University.
That's what
I'm saying. So like I love Monsters Inc. I just love like the whole change and like you think it's one way and then it's another way and like I like the bad guy. Mike Wazowski. I'm watching you. Always watching. I love that movie.
So good. Who's
we got a 3619.
I can't believe
George. We used to play the dodgeball game, Monsters Inc. on GameCube. Like we're big Monsters Inc. fans in this house, and I think because we're big John Goodman fans.
John Goodman definitely.
Like what he does. I like
Billy
the animation in it.
It's just such a good straight man.
He really is. I like Randall. Like he's a really good bad guy. I like the twist where it's like the whole industry's corrupt. Basically, like they don't need screams. Like they can find other sources. They don't want to though. I like that the Yeti's a real thing. Like they banish them to the real world.
Yeah,
so that's real monsters.
I'm looking at famous quotes. You just had me thinking about it. I'm just like, what's the famous one? Take your hands right off me, or so help me. What is it?
Like, no, I like the one where he's like, you want to go to bed? You want to go to sleep? You sleepy? Scary feet. Kids away. Scary feet. Punk beds. I love the training in it. Like Monsters Inc. is so good. Like there's a reason it got a ride. There's a reason it got a prequel. Like there's a reason people are so anxious for a sequel.
Part two.
I was like, I love the ending. It's so simple and reminded where he's like, Kitty.
Yeah, Kitty. I mean, come on, Kitty.
Like he puts a door back together for him, and you're like, oh, like That was so sweet.
So we're on to the our version of the Elite Eight. To me, again, we get onto the matchup of Lion King versus Moana.
I got Lilo and Stitch versus Frozen.
Okay, in mine, I have the Lion King. Again, it's the timeless tale. It's the ultimate growing up story. It's the blueprint because it's been around since Shakespeare.
That, but
what's yours?
This was tough because obviously Frozen may have changed it, but Lilo and Stitch, man, I love that little bastard. Like,
yeah.
I love the end where he's handcuffed and he always wants to go save Lilo and he's having an alien like, and he's just like, they understand him somehow. He's like, okay, and he just uncuffs him and he goes to save him. I love that part. Like, I like the show when it came out. I like the lore of Stitch. Like,
yeah,
he's a pirate. He's a space pirate.
But I love those. You were bringing it up. I mean, this isn't going to be part of what should make it move forward, but I do love the idea of like the show that came out. It reminded me almost of like Pokemon and like there's just so many different versions
powers.
Of
like the good ones, the bad ones they put back in tubes, and the good ones they find jobs for. I like this. So I'm gonna go Lilo and Stitch.
So out of that the top half of our bracket, Alex has one of his first Final Four, Lilo and Stitch. I have the Lion King. Right. In the next one, I have Aladdin versus Zootopia. To me, this is the easiest one. The OG of the VHS. It's Aladdin.
Because this is where Night Before Christmas hits its roadblock. Because, again, he's got a monkey, people.
Yeah. And for me, Zootopia.
Iago, come on.
Yeah, right. Iago and Jafar. And we'll get into why I think Aladdin's great in just a little bit. But the reason why Zootopia made it so far is, I guess, it's social commentary. But that only takes you so far. Alex mentioned that the reason why he didn't have it go so far was name a memorable song. Well, here's a case where it finally came and bit them in their ass for me.
Aladdin's made it this far. We have not even mentioned Robin Williams yet.
We're
saving the heavy machinery for the Final Four, but that's how far we've gone. In the first half of the movie is that good.
So on the other side, let's go ahead. I have Toy Story 2 versus
we both have Toy Story 2, yeah. Toy Story 3, right?
In our very next matchup, you got that right. It is Toy Story 2 versus Toy Story 3. You brought it up where the reason why we couldn't have them separated is because they would have dominated themselves into at least the lead 8.
So let's do it again. 3, 2, 1. Say which one you pick. 3, 2, 1. 3. Yep.
Toy Story 3.
At the right time, I was leaving for college. You were probably a year into it. You know, the idea of your prized possessions, the whole Nazi camp kind of really was dark. The humor, this is perfect.
Let me tell you a story about when we went to go see it. I'll never forget it. It was myself, Lewis, Robert, Kelsey, and Colin. And we went to go see it opening Friday. And it was the scene when they're going down the fire pit. And I turned because I'm crying. And I turn and I look at them. Everybody is crying at this scene. And the low-key cry scene that caught everybody off surprise is when Andy's driving away and Woody...
He gives him the wave. Yeah.
And everybody lost it because that movie came out when I was 18 years old.
You were about 19. I was 17.
So, Raymond, I was probably about 20 then because I think you were ready to go to college.
Yeah, it was literally right when I was leaving. I had not seen that movie in the theater because I hadn't, that's before I was watching, anime movies. I was too cool for that stuff. Mm-hmm. And I'm sitting in the living room oh, my God.
That movie is the real deal.
It's so good.
So we'll talk about it a little bit more because, again, that is one of
the story, being loved by a child, him giving up his toys. He was going to bring them or keep them in the attic, but he figured, I don't know. There was just so special. And
it was real.
It's dark. Yeah. It's real. They finally get a real bad group of toys.
And I was going to say, the introduction of these toys was phenomenal voice acting-wise and the story.
They're playing poker in a vending machine, the daycare. Just such a perfect movie.
I agree. So Toy Story 3.
That's a tough one to beat.
One of the top 4. And another tough one, one that I love, Finding Nemo. For me, you have A Bug's Life versus Monsters, Inc. I have Monsters, Inc. moving on to the Final Four. And why we get into it. But in our Final Four of our March Madness Disney Pixar bracket, I have The Lion King. Alex has Lilo and Stitch. That came out of that region. On the bottom region, Aladdin. On the other side of the region, Monsters, Inc. And rounding out our Final Four, Toy Story 3. So now, in the Final Four matchup, in our first matchup, Alex has Lilo and Stitch. I have The Lion King versus Aladdin. Alex.
What's funny is our finals are going to be the exact same. So that just goes to show you people, no matter how different our first 2 rounds were, we have the exact same finals.
So what was the deciding factor for you why Lilo and Stitch could not overcome Aladdin?
Aladdin has better songs. Aladdin's probably the greatest non-Pixar Disney movie ever made. It's a story about an underdog coming up and getting what he wants just by being himself. And let's not forget, Robin Williams is probably one of the greatest voice performances in the history of voice performances. Yeah. Robin Williams alone does it.
And the reason why Toy Story 3 gets over Monsters, Inc. is it takes that friendship that Sully and Mike Wazowski that they have with one another to a different level. Because this was, in Toy Story 3, we heard Robin Williams and we've heard Tim Allen take us from our childhood to a point where Tom Hanks and Tim Allen.
I was saying, you're getting all mixed up with your movies. We need to
because I hear to breaking the fourth wall down again. Tyson's in here.
Like, yeah, I say, I'm like, I don't know what you're talking. So we're talking about Toy Story 3 Monsters Inc. right now.
And in this scenario, when you have Billy Crystal and John Goodman take two characters that were beloved and take a friendship in one movie and make it endearing. Tim Allen and Tom Hanks took that and ran it three movies. And paid off. You heard it in their voice. They love these characters. Yeah. They were all in on this.
There's so many emotional parts of the movie, because even the first part where he's like, good luck in college, we're going to go to the daycare. Yeah. And then Woody's like, no, that's not. And like Woody grows up so much in this of like, you know what, like, hey, maybe I'm only thinking about myself. Like, no, I need to be with these people. Like, this is my family. Like, he's my child. But these are my family. Like, I need to be with them. Like, no matter what we do,
we're together.
As long as we're together,
we'll be okay.
We're gonna be fine, and like we'll make life work.
And that message at the point of our lives,
like,
was
I love
so
that
strong.
Part, see you later, partner. Yeah. Like, I'm like,
it's heartbreaking. And the fact that we get a part 4 and we're excited for.
I love that. I love the Hero 23 is the aliens.
Yeah.
The claw. Because you didn't see that coming.
No,
I'm like,
no.
Woo!
I cried. I cried twice in Toy Story 3.
Like, they make you believe, and like, even though it's kind of stupid to believe now, they're like, are they gonna kill our toys?
They're
not going to, but like, they make you believe for 5 minutes. You're like, wow, they're gonna kill our toys.
So we've made it to our finals, to what probably will be in the real life Loyola versus Villanova. Yep. It is Aladdin versus Toy Story 3. Alex, I will give you my champion. To me, it comes down to what story is universal. What blueprint is universal? While you may be able to tell me that the other one that didn't win is like that, all throughout movie history, this has been a go-to story. The underdog,
story of friendship and underdog and just acceptance of yourself. I agree, because we have the same winner. As much as we love Toy Story 3, Aladdin just has so many messages about being yourself.
Yep.
Friendship, of developing a friendship, and like learning to care about someone and
making mistakes
along the way, and like, and just again acceptance of who you are, and that you are enough, and like that you can come from anything and be something.
And breaking tropes again. We talk about Mulan, who wasn't going to be forced to marry anybody. Princess Jasmine is arguably the leader of the princess group.
She's of the warrior princesses.
Like, so. A magic carpet ride. It's a movie about the Middle East.
The music's beautiful.
Robin
the scenery
Williams,
beautiful.
like you mentioned.
I love the ending where like he's just like, I love you, Al.
I like that.
Like, I wish for, like, his last wish to free the genie, and Genie doesn't see it coming. Robin Williams just so much emotion into the voice, and I forgot who's the voice of Aladdin. It's
Kirk Cameron.
Kirk Cameron does a great voice in this, and like every song hits, every single song. Like Prince Ali's even good.
It's just
the original
Prince Abu,
song,
the car. Look at we fell in love with a magic carpet.
Jafar's one of the probably top 4 bad guys in all Disney, like with Ursula and Maleficent and like the Evil Witch. Like he's like up there. Like if you ever see Disney bad guys, Jafar is one of the main ones.
Easily.
Iago goes from being like an annoying character to like I kind of like Iago. Like I grew up and people would call me Iago because I wouldn't shut the hell up. That was my nickname in our family, breaking the fourth wall again, is they would call me Iago because I wouldn't shut up, and I took that as a compliment.
Oh, that's interesting. It isn't Kirk Cameron. It says Brad Kane and Scott Weinger.
What did Kirk Cameron do? Didn't he sing or something? I could have swore he was part of the movie.
Was Kirk Cameron Aladdin?
No, that was
The Lion King?
Was
he Simba?
No, he was in something, dude.
I'm going to look it up right now. Give me one second. You guys...
But, like, okay, so again, against Toy Story 3, like, it's not against it, but what separates it is, like, just Aladdin has a few more messages in it. And obviously the music helps because Aladdin has better music because Toy Story doesn't have music necessarily. But Lion King hits on more levels because it's got humor, it's got action, it's got adventure, it's got a cool end fight scene, it's got a better bad guy, which is hard because Lotso's a great bad guy.
It's not Kirk Cameron. I'm sorry. Kirk Cameron's sister's, what's her name from Full House? Candace Cameron?
Yeah.
Her boyfriend in Full House is the voice of Aladdin.
That's why you always get confused because
he
looks like
okay. Kirk Cameron.
So there was a connection there. Okay, so we're not tripping.
Okay.
I'm like, I could have sworn it was someone we knew.
Yeah. Look at
Robin
the end.
Williams. Probably at the end of the day is what really. He's the 3-point shot at the buzzer.
Yeah,
he's Robin Williams, I think, and the monkey, and they have a monkey.
And Abu. It goes back to what I said. We fell in love with taking Robin Williams out of it. We fell in love with a monkey, a magic carpet,
and a street rat.
We fell in love with Who Disturbs My Slumber. Like, it is Aladdin.
Not worthy.
Like, it's the. And what's crazy is
don't touch a thing but the lamp
and stupid Abu.
Fucking
and
Abu, right?
It always
Yeah,
fucks everything up. And then you see, what it did to pop culture, and like every couple once in their relationship dresses up as Jasmine and Aladdin.
And like just that song is so beautiful. Like they're remaking this movie live action with Will Smith. Like they grabbed one of the biggest, like probably the only guy I could see that could do a Robin Williams, like not impression, but do the part right.
Do a genie right.
Is Will Smith.
So, and think about it. This is a story, Aladdin, that's been told forever. And Disney has now made what the Aladdin story is moving forward. Whatever Aladdin story you heard before that movie came out from Disney, the old tale of Aladdin and the Seven Thieves.
Yeah.
No. The new Aladdin lore that will forever go down in history is Disney's version. And that is why Aladdin wins our very first, the 2018 Mercado Airwaves Good Brothers March Madness Bracket, Disney versus Pixar.
Do you think there's any movies that didn't make the list in general that probably should have? Like, I've heard people say Dumbo. I'm not a big Dumbo fan because I think Dumbo is a character more than a good movie.
That's an interesting point.
Honestly, like, I think people remember how cute he is and, like, maybe the ending scene of, like, he can fly sort of thing. Peter Pan, speaking of that.
Peter Pan.
I'm, again, not a big fan for me personally. I'm trying to look around. Anything else that didn't make the list that could have probably made the list, you think? Like, besides those
because what upset me was I think Tangled is good and I think Brave are good. I don't necessarily think they should have. I think if they were when they put them in the bracket, they were last teams in.
Mike hates women.
No.
Hot news.
That's not what it is.
Tangled's amazing. Brave, I can understand. Tangled's amazing. Tangled belongs on this list.
I personally.
If you're gonna put Princess and the Frog and Moana on this list,
I think Princess and the Frog has to be in it.
Because without Tangled, you don't get Frozen and you don't get Moana. You don't get Big Hero 6. That revamped Disney's live action, or not live action, but animated.
There is one movie that really upset me that wasn't on there.
I'm trying to think. Like, there's a lot of old school movies, but I'm pretty solid with what they have besides Peter Pan and Dumbo. Like, I could have saw those kind of jumping in there, but Pixar wise, I think they got it all pretty right. Not a big, I think Zootopia is great and maybe a little too new for my liking. Big Hero 6 I could see being vamped out for a Dumbo or more of a classic Disney movie. Cinderella. Didn't have Cinderella.
Cinderella.
And I love Cinderella. Yeah. Cinderella, night and day. Like with the little mice. I love that one. The little fat mice. Goose.
Goose.
I love the little fat mouse.
You know what? I guess you're right. Like, I really can't.
I probably named one of them in those three. Like
yeah,
Peter
like,
Pan, Dumbo,
I'm
Cinderella.
really.
Snow White?
Snow White would have been.
No, see, that's where I'm upset. Like, you're going to tell me you're going to put in, like,
Nightmare Before Christmas,
Utopia, Moana, Frozen, Hercules, even Big Hero 6, Tangled. And I'm going to put in the OG Snow White?
Yeah. No,
that
I know. Snow White's pretty good. I just think a lot of it has to do with you don't want to be so basic,
heavy.
like just so basic.
But
like that's an easy one.
the movie. That's the original.
I don't disagree.
Like, I'm not saying like a Fox and the Hound where it's like I just love the animals or like Oliver's Company.
Fox
Like,
and the Hound is
I'm
great.
talking about Snow White. Like, that is the OG. That is the mother of all Disney.
That's an
and you kind of left her out. Like, she probably deserved. I'm gonna say that right now. Snow White deserved one spot, and I'm not going to argue what spot you should have taken, but it deserved a spot on
Jungle
the list.
Book.
No, because I think Jungle Book. I think Jungle Book's like Dumbo. I don't think people remember the original movie as much as they remember the songs, and I think the modern version is what we're going to remember from here on out.
Interesting. Because I actually do really like the cartoon version.
I don't. I think it's kind of lame.
That's interesting. Hot take.
Mowgli barely talks and that. Like, I don't like it.
Yeah, that's.
I'm about to say, like, I think if people really thought about it, they don't really remember too much from the original Jungle Book, besides like a couple key scenes and like dancing.
Yeah.
But like, I think the new one does a better job of being like, okay, that's my Jungle Book.
The new Jungle Book was really good. That was really fun, Alex. Any lasting thoughts about our bracket? Did you?
No, I thought it was funny that like it all came down to like the same two teams, no matter how bad your opinions were of hating women in the beginning.
Yeah, that's.
Man, you're gonna find an article on one of these fake websites about you hating women
because
now
you keep
from
saying
nowhere.
it. Yeah,
because you didn't pick Mulan. Like you're a terrible person.
I picked Zootopia, whose protagonist is a female bunny. You idiot!
I picked a woman princess from China, Mike. Like you can't beat that. You're not gonna.
I
There's
picked
no
a
argument.
bunny.
There's no argument. There's no
Shut
argument.
up.
You're not gonna.
Shut up.
Mulan literally
Shut
broke
up.
stereotypes. She's
Shut
the OG too.
Shut up.
Like you're a terrible person, Mike.
I had Moana.
And he likes
you
Superman better than Wonder Woman. That's also a bad opinion.
Man of Steel's better than Wonder Woman.
No, it's not. Not even close.
And I love Wonder Woman too.
Not even close.
So cool, Alex. Let's wrap this thing up.
All right. I'm wrapping it up. My pretend box here. Sending it in.
Yeah, cool.
So
Guys, you can follow us over in the universe. I'm on Twitter at Mercado2333. He's on Mercado21. Alex, like us on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. We're on SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/Mercado Airwaves. Like, rate, review, and subscribe to us on iTunes, iTunes.com/Mercado Airwaves. We're on Stitcher. Stitcher.com/Mercado Airwaves. Check us out right there. Subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/Mike Mercado2333. Check us out behind the scenes on Instagram, Instagram.com/Mike Mercado2333. Let us know everywhere what you think. How did your bracket play out? Did you agree with us? What movies would you have had put in?
If you didn't agree with us on Aladdin, we don't want to hear it.
Yeah, to be honest with you, if you're
We're that
winner
kind of
Aladdin,
show.
yeah,
I don't want to hear your opinion.
Yeah, so you heard it from the
I'm
horse's
kidding.
mouth.
We would
yourself.
like to hear it.
Alex, any last words for the fine people?
Last words.
Before we get out of here.
You won my clever little exit. Now.
I did.
Now
Yeah, I didn't sell it. Cubs start from breaking the fourth wall down for the fourth time. Start in about 24 hours from right now of our recording day. You ready?
24 hours?
Yeah, start
When's the
11
game?
o'clock.
When's the game?
Tomorrow, Thursday, against
I'm
Miami.
so happy I don't work during the day.
Yeah, they opening season. You
Well,
excited?
I am, but like I used to love when they did Sunday Night Baseball when it was like
The
we're
first
like,
game was
like,
Sunday. Yeah.
So I'm like I don't even remember and I like that we're on the road because I'll be at opening day, people, because me and Cisco have gone 5 years in a row, and I'm a good luck charm to the Cubs.
I will. My first
and Mike
game,
won't be because he's a cheap bastard.
the one who has season tickets is this cheap bastard.
Yeah, that he won't go to an extra game because he already paid for his game.
I already went to
you
my
just
game,
killed
fuck
your
you.
point, Mike.
No, I already paid for all of them.
Your point's
My first
mute.
game is April 12th, and I have a game April 26th.
Wow, but it's not the home opener. No. Like, Mike, did you see the banner race?
No, I saw them get their rings. Did you see them get their rings?
Yeah, on
live?
TV. But
No,
I,
you didn't see them? I saw them get their. Yeah,
So,
it's cool.
like, I was
Did you
there.
go to a playoff game when they were winning?
Wait, hold on. Didn't they lose that playoff game?
But they were in it, right?
They lost the playoff
have you
game,
ever
though,
seen
right?
them? Have you ever seen the Cubs live in a National League Championship Series game?
Mike, did they not lose that
Thank
game?
you guys so much.
No,
for listening to
hold on.
another
We're gonna have
episode
this
of
argument
the
now.
Good Brothers.
No,
We
hold
really
on.
appreciate you
Let's
guys.
talk about this. What's more important? Let's ask the fans. I want this at the end of our little, paragraph that you write that I never read through. Actually, I probably should start reading.
because you're
through
horrible.
before you put it out there. What was more important? Seeing the Cubs banner raising, the very first time that the defending World Series champions have been there in hundreds of years.
108 years, not hundreds of years.
Hundreds of years. Or seeing them get their rings like 2 days later, 3 days later, after
A
the
day later,
the
asshole.
banner, the first World Series banner in hundreds
I saw
of years.
the Cubs get their World Series.
Okay, and then our second question is, Mike went to a playoff game, but he also went to one of the only ones they lost that year. So
I saw Clayton Kershaw versus Kyle Hendricks in a 2-1 ball game.
They lost. I'm just saying. So let's ask it. We'll see what people say. So
Guys,
we don't have to argue it.
Explain to Alex why he's wrong. Thank you so much for joining us on this
Mike hates
episode
women.
of The Good Brothers. Also, speaking of women, teaser, next week, it's WrestleMania. We got a little treat for you guys. Stay tuned on the network. We'll see what we're doing for you all. It's WrestleMania 34. Daniel Bryan is back.
Ronda
Rousey.
Premiere.
In her first match in a WWE ring. John Cena versus The Undertaker. Does anybody want to see that? I kind of do.
It's been a long closing. The American Badass.
Alex thinks the American Bad. You know what? Wait till
We'll talk
WrestleMania
about it
week.
next
We'll see you
week.
guys on the next episode of The Good Brothers here on Mercado Airwaves.
Mercado Airwaves is brought to you by supporters at patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves. If you would like to support Mercado Airwaves, visit us at patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves. Find us on iTunes at Mercado Airwaves. Keep up to date with the show on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. You can follow Alex on Twitter at Mercado21Alex. Follow Mike on Twitter at mmercado2333 and on Instagram, Mike Mercado2333. Thanks for joining us here on The Good Brothers, here on Mercado Airwaves.